The whole point is to talk to you about available connectivity solutions, because some of you may be lost between what is Wi-Fi, what is Bluetooth, what is Sigfox, what is Zigbee, whatever, GSM, when to use it, when not to use it, what the data rate, what the range, all sort of questions that you must... Whoa. Good? Okay, so all sorts of questions that you must ask yourself before starting your project. Okay, do like that. So the whole point is to do this choice wisely, because choosing your connectivity will affect your whole project. It's just very important. It's not choosing between two commodities that you can switch however you want, because it will impact the overall cost of your project, the autonomy of your device, ease of configuration, and in the end, user adoption. If some of you already tried to configure a Wi-Fi device, it could be a nightmare and you can forget quickly about your device. So you cannot have it all. It cannot be cheap, autonomous, support heavy data exchanges, live longly, and have a wide range. So let's focus first on independence. Will your device be linked to a hub, or do you need it to live its life on its own? Because sometimes you're okay for your device to have a hub, being the smartphone, their own internet box, another device, whatever, but in sometimes you'll need your object to live its life without any hub, just connect to the internet, send its data, receive whatever it needs to receive, and get along with it. Range, another question. How close your object have to be from its station or its hub? Is it okay if you need to be within 1 meter or 2 meters of the hub? If it's your smartphone, it's always in your pocket, so it will be okay, but maybe you will need a few hundred meters to walk, because the device will be in the garden, in a remote place, or maybe you will need kilometers or tens of kilometers. If your device lives its life wherever it will be, you don't know in advance where it will be, so you will need full range capacity. Okay. Energy, so something that you must look very closely at before starting your project, because it will change everything. If you need to plug it every couple of days, you can be sure your user will forget about it. You will get tired about using your device, plugging it every now and then, and it will end up in a drawer, which is, I don't know about you, but I have a full drawer, which is a kind of a cemetery of connected device, which were great the first time I used it, and I got tired about them within weeks or months at best, because it was a nightmare to handle the battery stuff. So do you need its autonomy to be in days, in weeks, in months, in years, in decades? Because business stuff, metering stuff, you cannot rely on a few months or a few years of autonomy. The longer, the better, because it means less maintenance work, because in the end, maintenance, it costs money. So autonomy really is key to your project. I'm sorry, I'm speaking really fast, and I'll try to get slower. So last question you must ask before starting is, will you handle the stuff yourself? Are you skilled enough? Are you ready to handle... Are you ready to handle everything on your side? Deployments, operations, maintenance? Or do you want an operating network, just like with your cell phone, you just put it out of the box and it just works? That's the very important question. If you're starting with a project without a hub, are you going to plug in an existing network? You're going to pay for that, obviously. But if you start your own network, you will pay for it too, because you'll have a lot of work on your side. And if you have the skills, it could be okay, but think about it twice. So let's focus first on Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is available everywhere, almost. So Wi-Fi is a local area network. Local means you can count, let's say, 100 meters, sometimes more, but most of the time less, because the hub that mostly is your own internet box, is inside. So if you've got a house, just try to connect it on your Wi-Fi from the other side of your house, or from the end of your garden, from your neighbor house, whatever. Most of the time it won't work. So it's only okay if your device is just close to the hub. So if it's within the house, you'll be fine. Wi-Fi basics, high bandwidth, so that bandwidth is free. Basically, you can send whatever you want over Wi-Fi. It will work. And yeah, just a reminder, Wi-Fi operates mostly on 2.4 gigahertz. You'll see that a lot of things are going on this frequency. You got something on 5 gigahertz too, but mostly it will end in 2.4. Main benefits of the Wi-Fi. So you rely on the user's box, so basically you already paid for internet connectivity. So you don't have to add this cost to your project, to the device that you will sell in. You already paid for it, so that's an interesting upside. And as I said earlier, bandwidth is free. So whatever data you need to send, to receive, you're okay with it. You don't have to optimize anything. Just go for it, and you can send video, pictures, full text, whatever you want, whenever you want. Wi-Fi, basically, it relies on the user's connectivity. So if internet connection is bad, you'll have troubles. But most of the time, you'll be fine. And you can connect several devices on the hub. That's an important point, because even if you're only distributing one connected device, you won't be alone. So you need your device to be able to live along the other devices that will land in the house, in the office space, in the place where it will be used. You won't be alone. I think you will see, or you have seen already in this conference, a lot of slides that will talk about billions, 10 of billions of connected devices in 2020. So believe me, you won't be alone, but a lot of space. So Wi-Fi, for that, is quite good because you can handle several devices on one single point. But Wi-Fi has constraints too. I said earlier it was everywhere. It is not. Believe me, the world is big, and one of the business that you may want to operate on will be on the silver economy. There are lots and lots of old people around. There will be even more in the years to come. And many of them do not have available Wi-Fi in their home. So if they are your potential targets, think twice about Wi-Fi. It may not be available. And the point is configuring your device. It can be the user's nightmare. I bought a couple of devices. Some are getting good at that for the configuration point. But often you will need to find your Wi-Fi key that you never remember where it is stored, and so on. Wi-Fi key can change. And your hub, it can get offline. The internet box can lose the connection, power can be off, and if you know about Murphy's Law, it will happen. Shit will happen. The box will look like it works, but you won't be able to send anything, to receive any data from the network, and it could be a very important issue. Another constraint, I spoke earlier about energy. Wi-Fi costs a lot on the device point of view. So if you want your device to be autonomous, to be independent, Wi-Fi may not be the best solution. Wi-Fi is not so easy on the developer side. There's a lot of fragmentation about protocols. There are a lot of available chipsets. Some are good, some are not that good. some are terrible. So it's not that easy. You may encounter a lot of troubles in a development cycle, losing connection, not being able to connect to one given access point. We all know it. You develop your project, it works well on your side, you give it to a client, it doesn't work on its own network. So it happens a lot with Wi-Fi. And Wi-Fi is not that scalable. I said earlier you can connect several devices on one hotspot, but as many of us have already encountered in work, for example, if you have tens of people connected to the same access point, it will quickly be painful. So if your device is one in tens of, or if there are already other solutions running on the same access point, being heavy on the data, you can encounter issues, either losing the connection, having a bad bandwidth, and so on. So where to use Wi-Fi? It's good. It's good if you're working in the home space, in the office space, a few tens of meters away from the hub. It's good if your target population is already connected. If we think about B2C projects, if you are targeting people in their 40s, 30s, you can bet on Wi-Fi in our developed countries. If you're targeting developing countries, you're targeting silver economy, this may not be a good bet to bet on internet Wi-Fi access available. The Wi-Fi is suitable if your device is talkative. If your device needs to talk every given second, if it needs to talk a lot to send you a shitload of data, yes, you must use Wi-Fi because it's the best solution for high bandwidth if you need a lot of data to be transmitted from a connected solution to your application. And if energy is free, so basically if you're plugged in a wall-mounted power supply, you don't care about how much it will cost to your user, you won't see it, you're fine. But if you're on a battery-operated device, either you're going to optimize a lot, spend a lot of time getting your device working better, having a better energy efficiency, or you will end up with something that the user needs to charge every couple of days, every couple of weeks. And as I said in my introduction, we all know how it will end. It will end with your device in the drawer because it doesn't work. I forgot to charge it. I forgot that it was useful to me. And basically, you're done. Once your user forget to charge your device, forget that he needs it, he forgets about you, and you're dead. So where not to use Wi-Fi? If your device needs a great autonomy, as I said, forget about Wi-Fi. It won't be a good solution for you. If your device needs to be plug and play, basically if you just want your end user to open the box, power on the device, and that's it, Wi-Fi won't do it. Because they will need either to enter to find its own Wi-Fi, enter its access key, maybe you will even need first to connect to the Wi-Fi access point of your device. So you will need to say your user, connect to my own network, enter your credentials, okay, reboot the device, and so on. It's not good because on user point of view, usability is terrible and it's frustrating. I didn't even start to use your device and I'm already getting tired about it because it took me 5-10 minutes because I'm tech savvy, but someone who is not can spend hours or will need to call your support service to know how just to get started with your device. So if you want your device to be plug and play, Wi-Fi could be hard, unless you're ready to rely on public accessible Wi-Fi, but you'd better forget about it. If you're thinking about public Wi-Fi, airport Wi-Fi, hotel Wi-Fi, it's no good. And last point is, if your device is mobile, if it's moved from a place to another, Wi-Fi won't be good too, because you will need either the user to remember to store several configurations for its home, for its office, from another place, his weekend home, whatever, or basically it won't work. So mobile solutions over Wi-Fi are not that good unless you've got a mobile project, a mobile product, who always come back home and you can handle a synchronization every day, every week, whatever. But if you want your device to send you a message from wherever it is right now, you cannot bet on having an available Wi-Fi you can connect on. So what can we use? If I'm in the one not to use case, maybe I can try Bluetooth. Bluetooth most of the time today means BLE. Because classic Bluetooth, it's becoming more and more rare because it costs a lot of energy, data rate wasn't that good, and all new smartphones are powered with Bluetooth 4, which introduce Bluetooth low energy. So when you hear, sorry about that again. So when you hear about BLE, it's about Bluetooth low energy. We are lucky on that. For once, we have a technology which name is clear. So low energy means at least you won't need a battery to be that big to handle your device. BLE is suitable for short-range communication, even shorter than your Wi-Fi. Bet on 20 meters. Some guys will tell you that you can bet on 50 meters, even more with Bluetooth. In the real life, in a real-world application, 20 meters is a good limit. And to be honest, most of the time, the limit will be 2 meters because it will be in your pocket on the table. And I just wrote that BLE was lingua franca of today's connected object because every time now you buy a B2C connected object, be it a watch from a given fruit company, being a fitness tracker, whatever, you need BLE. BLE operates on 2.4 gigahertz. Frequency band is getting to get crowded. It's not an issue right now, but maybe you'll need to think about it in a few years. So main benefits of the BLE. It's high speed, up to 1 megabits per second. Focus on the up, because most of the time you won't get that. If you're getting 100 kilobits per second, that's quite good. So this is a public maximum that we will hear about, but you need to confront it with real-world application. Bluetooth is cheap. You don't need subscription. Components, hardware components are cheap, are widely available, can get started very quickly with something very cheap. Someone was talking about beacons earlier today. Beacons are a sub-part of BLE products, but you can see them getting everywhere now. Bluetooth is easy to set up. You just pair it with your phone most of the time with another product. And Bluetooth is compatible with every smartphone around. So, yeah, and basically Bluetooth is low energy. Low energy, we're talking about 15 milliamperes. So for those of you who are in the hardware stuff, you can see that with that, it doesn't cost you a lot. It costs you close to nothing in energy. And so your battery can live days, weeks without any troubles, without even starting to optimize your stuff. So good benefits, low on energy, good data rate, available everywhere. Yeah, you have constraints too, of course. You're still relying on a hub, same as Wi-Fi. And this, most of the time, is a smartphone. You need your user to have a smartphone. A recent smartphone, a high-end smartphone, a working smartphone, not like my iPhone, who is dead by 3 in the afternoon. And you need the user to have his Bluetooth on, which many people switch off right now because they just want their phone to live till the evening. And I spoke earlier about the advertised 1 megabits per second. Check with real world. If you want very high data rate, might get hard over Bluetooth. Not that easy on the developer side, because I think there are another conference tomorrow about that, tomorrow or later today with Damien. We will speak about how to get started from a developer's point of view, the upside, the downside, but think about your developer team. It won't be that easy for them. You will encounter problems, losing the connection, having fragmentation. It's quite different from iOS to Android mostly. And as I said, chips are available widely. You can buy whatever you want. Just log on the internet, go to AliExpress, whatever. You will find cheap and cheaper Bluetooth chips. But chip isn't always that good. So you will need to find a chip that really suits your project, suits your need, that is good enough for you. And the hub, so the hub is called your smartphone, it cannot handle tens of Bluetooth objects at the same time. You cannot speak both to your Bluetooth speaker, to your fitness tracker, to your connected watch, to the device in your car, what else? So not all the devices will be available to speak at the same time. So why should you use it? Companion solutions are widely available on the market right now. By companion, I mean working closely with a smartphone. So the fitness trackers, it's maybe the best example. It's always in your pocket or at your home. It's always within 1 meter of your smartphone. So range is not an issue. You frequently send data, but you do not send that frequently. If the smartphone isn't up right now, it's not a worry. You can wait an hour. You can wait a day for synchronization as soon as you have local memory. So companion solutions that you are ready to couple with a hub, with a smartphone, and you are ready for vendor updates. Who knows what's awaiting you in iOS 9 or in next Android version, next smartphone that is coming up. You are not sending videos or stuff like that because not that good. You have very good sound speakers over Bluetooth, but if you go on large assets, you need stable communication between the hub and the device. It will get hard. So if you're looking for big assets, get back to Wi-Fi. It will be easier. You've got the same hub constraints, but at least it's more easy for you to handle big data assets. And if your target autonomy is in a few weeks, yeah, Bluetooth may be the good solution for you. If you're looking for months or years or whatever, it will get harder. So where not to use, AV data transmission, forget about it. And if your device needs to speak, even when there is no active hub around, if it's critical data, if you need to send it, even if the smartphone is dead, even if the Bluetooth is switched off, you can get stuck with a Bluetooth solution if the user forget to switch its Bluetooth back on because he forgot about the device he had in his pocket, or if he changed his phone to a cheaper one, which doesn't have good Bluetooth capabilities. So using a hub technology as its hub, it's free. It's already here. You rely on what the user already paid for internet connectivity. But the downside is you have a weak point, which you cannot manage. You do not handle this, and you can be kicked out of the user. So what other solution do we have? Zigbee and Z-Wave, they are not that known solutions. Very different. So the whole point of this presentation is helping you debunking buzzwords, being able to know the difference between short-range solutions, long-range solutions, operating network, hub solutions, or mesh networks. This one, both Zigbee and Z-Wave are designed for mesh networks. So something that you handle yourself with devices speaking to one another. Don't mix it up. They look the same, both starting with a Z, but one is a proprietary solution working on sub-gigahertz, so better range. Your data is getting further, so suitable for local area network. Zigbee is operating on 5 gigahertz. It's fine for private area network, for your house, for your industrial site, for your building. And Z-Wave is suitable as soon as you want something more local and you don't want to repeat the signal every now and then. So mesh networks, it's good. Your devices are speaking with one another. You're not speaking to the internet and back to device B. You can have direct exchange between device A, device B. It can be very useful in some solutions. If you're just looking for a B2C solution with one product that the user will keep it with him, you don't need mesh networks. But if you're working on larger scale projects, monitoring stuff, may be useful for you. And you will find Zigbee development modules everywhere. It's widely distributed. You even have a format that became an industry standard, the XB standard. Even of other technologies, you now see chips, modules on this particular format. So widely available, easy to get started with. Constraints, hey, you'll need to set up your own network. Maintain it. We're talking about network stuff, radio stuff. So if it is something you're already good at, go for it. But if it's not the core of your business, you may end up spending a lot of time, a lot of money in something that is not that critical to your own business. Or you will rely on a partner that will do it for you. And you must be confident in this partner for the future. You still need a hub in the end because it's a mesh network, your devices are speaking to one another, fine. But in the end, you may want this mesh network to be linked to the internet. So one point of this network will need to be connected. And another constraint is fragmentation. Always the same. You've got a lot of chips on the market, a lot of modules, but they are not all that good. And the other point is different Zigbee products right now are not available, are not able to speak together. So it's a common protocol shared by a lot of devices, a lot of solutions, but today they are not that good at speaking together between different solutions. Why to use it? Mainly home automation stuff. You're looking for the old thing that we were calling domotique here in France. Zigbee is good. It's working in your home. You have several devices, different devices around the house that need to work together. It's perfect. Zigbee is really suited if you're working on home automation. If you want to monitor installations or places that you own, that you can control, you can deploy your own network on, you're fine. And if you're used to handle radio network stuff, if you're not, you're facing trouble very quickly. So why not to use it? You need your device to talk directly to the internet, to your main platform. It's not the point. It's not the point. Zigbee, Z-Wave, they are mesh network solution. It's not for your unique device to connect to the internet and to speak. You're not interested, you're not skilled enough to handle network stuff. Forget about deploying your own network. Find an operating network solution, find a hub-based solution, but do not lose your time. If that's not the core of your business, you won't gain a lot dealing with it, and you may lose a lot. And if you're looking for plug-and-play solution, obviously, this is not for you. So, operating network, we all know one. It's called GSM, be it 2G, 3G, 4G, whatever. We're all using it every day with our phones. So, it's available worldwide, almost. I just put a little almost because there are still countries where you cannot do whatever you want on the GSM, but in 99.999% of your use cases, GSM will be available. You still have some whites on the maps, but mostly the whites are in places that nothing is going on. GSM, it's proven in M2M solutions. They've been around for years. It works. You have a lot of solutions in production for years and years that works, that rely on GSM in various countries. So at least you're in known territory. You know that it works and that you can rely on it. Main benefits, you can use a high bandwidth. You can use 4G if you want. It's ever increasing. Every couple of years you have an up in the available bandwidth in your smartphone. Right now you can stream videos, something that you would not have thought about 10 years ago. So if you need a lot of data, yes, GSM is a good solution. GSM is available. GSM is mature. It works. We know it. It's around. So yeah. Hey, okay, so let's use GSM now. Hey, GSM has its downside. Everything has its downside, unfortunately. I didn't come with a magic solution today. So main constraint is cost. GSM costs a lot. It costs money. Yes, okay, subscriptions are getting down the last years, so it costs money. But most of all, it costs energy. GSM would be hard on your battery. It will drain your battery very, very, very quickly. So if you're ready for it, well, why not? But if it's critical to you, beware. So yeah, kind of inside joke, talking about butterflies life, which is even longer than one of a battery of a GSM. And beware of evolution. There are new standards coming out, but network operators are not maintaining old stuff. 2G is fine. Maybe you want to build your product, your service over 2G. You don't need that much data. It costs you less. But the point is, more and more countries right now are dismantling the 2G networks because operators don't want to handle 2G networks, GPRS, 3G, 4G, LTE, whatever. So every new protocol, every new standard in the GSM is pushing an old one out of the picture. So if you're building your product on a GSM right now, think about how long you want it to live. If you're fine about building it again in 4 or 5 years, 6, 7, fine. But if you're looking for someone for decades, you may end up in trouble. So where do you use GSM? Well, I just came here to tell you to use GSM for mobile solution. Kind of a discovery. So yeah, GSM is a cellular-based network. You can use it wherever you want. You can use it when you're moving from your home to your office to wherever you want. It works. You need a lot of data. GSM works fine with that. Energy is free for you. It's not battery operated. Okay, go for it. But why not to use it? If you're supporting your service, your solution with a battery, it won't be good for you because your battery will end up very quickly. You will drain it quickly, and as I said in the introduction, if your user needs to charge it every now and then, one day or another, he will forget about your product. Or worse, if your client is not the usual customer, but it's a business client, yeah, he will charge the battery, he will even change it when needed, but it will cost him money. If your product is costing money to your customer, in the end, it won't be good for you. They just want to have the maintenance cost as low as possible. And why not to use it? When your devices are not that talkative, you don't really need that high bandwidth. I think some of you are already seeing where I'm going to. And, okay. Sorry about that. Slides have not been updated correctly. Little parenthesis. As you saw, every solution has its downside, and every of your project is unique. You all have unique needs. So, hey, why not building my own network solution? Yeah, there are a lot of protocols available. You can build things on 6LoWPAN. You can even do whatever you want in free-to-use frequency bands. You can use tomorrow morning the 433 in Europe, 868. You can do whatever you want, build your own protocol. I'm afraid it won't work because radio is hard. If you want to play, go for it. But think twice. is your need that unique, or can you fit within the benefits and constraints of one of the available solutions? Hub-based, operated, mesh, you have a lot of solutions. And surprise, I will also talk you about Sigfox today. Sigfox, for you to get the basis, it's an operating network, just like GSM I spoke about earlier, dedicated to the IoT. It's not here to support voice, to support multimedia, whatever. The main focus of Sigfox network is energy efficiency. So it's about sending small messages every now and then, not every millisecond, but yeah, it operates in ISM bands, which is free, unlicensed bands. Free means regulated. You cannot do whatever you want. That's why your protocol is designed, is tuned to adjust to regulations. Regulations that change. Regulation is different in Europe, in the US, in East Asia, in Middle East. And most important thing you must know is Sigfox is operating with a ultra-narrowband technology. So for those of you who are versed in telecom stuff, radio stuff, we're talking about 100 hertz wide in the spectrum for one emission. So you can see how you can handle a lot of communication and how resistive, how tolerant you can be to the noise floor with that. And yeah, Sigfox is 12 bytes per message. So if you're used to doing web stuff, if you're used to JSON, to XML, to full text, okay, 12 bytes is 12 letters. So you cannot do anything with that. But sync machine, IoT is all about machines. So 12 bytes, it's 2 power 96 bits, which is about 80 billions of billions of billions of permutations of possible values. So think smart. You can put a lot of things on 12 bytes, in 12 bytes. You cannot put the whole world, you cannot put big data, is not for you. Big data, Sigfox is not for you. But you can put a lot in Sigfox, in a Sigfox message in 12 bytes. And it's up to 140 times per day. Mostly regulation forces us to do that. So think about 6 messages per hour, 1 message every 10 minutes. That's not that much, but most of connected devices, we believe, in the IoT won't need to speak more than that. And Sigfox works both indoor and outdoor. I cannot run a demo here because I didn't have time to test it, but just run a quick test in the conference hall earlier today, and messages were received by half a dozen stations of a network. For those who are from Nantes, who are speaking about 2 base stations in the city centers, 1 in Haute-Goulaine, 1 in Saint-Herblain. So we're speaking about long range, not a few kilometers, we're speaking about tens of kilometers of range. That's good. And all of that with a great energy efficiency. It's about 25 milliampere in emission. It will change depending on the module, on the transceiver that you will use, but you can bet on 25 milliampere for a few seconds. And think about it, 99% of the time, your connected device won't be connected. So the most important thing is how much will it cost me in energy when doing nothing? And how long would it take for it to boot, to set up on the network before sending a message? Because most of the time, you don't know anything with a connected device. It just sits here, waiting for stuff to happen, waiting for an event. So that's why we have no registration on the network, no transaction, no negotiation with the tower. You do not have to negotiate frequency. Basically, you power up your modem, send your message, power off, and you're done. In a few seconds, everything is okay, and you're back to deep sleep mode. Deep sleep mode is about microamperes, so close to nothing. Especially, it will be close to nothing, because your overall solution will use a lot more energy than that. Another important thing to know, Sigfox is bidirectional. It's working in the 2 ways. from the device to the device. But the communication is always initiated by the device. Because even if listening to a network costs less than talking, it still costs way more than sleeping. So at the initiative of the device, it can ask for a response for the server. It will be either an automatic one, an acknowledgement of the transaction, a time synchronization info, or something that will come from your own application server. So based on previous values that you received from your device, based on values that you get from other devices, you can switch mode, you can change frequency of message sending, and so on. So two-way communication, not full duplex. Again, for those who know their stuff in network, it's not full duplex because, to be honest, building a full duplex network dedicated to the IoT to serve the billions and billions and tens of billions of connected devices that we are waiting for, either it won't work or it will cost a shitload of money. And we believe that the network should not cost a lot. It should not cost a lot to operate, and it should not cost a lot to use. So I'm speaking about network. The whole point is there are slides. Yeah, slides are fun. Mine are not that fun, I must admit. But we also have real life stuff. Our network is currently live nationwide in France, Spain, Netherlands. By nationwide, I mean 95% of France is covered right now. Even maybe a little more now. It was last month's values. In the UK, the network is live over the 10 largest cities. So we are speaking London, Birmingham, Manchester, Edinburgh, Glasgow, and so on. We've got San Francisco covered since last month in a different frequency, as I showed earlier. In the US, we are working on the 915 megahertz frequency band with a few differences in our protocol implementation, but it is the same network. Messages ends up in the same place. And we also have citywide coverage right now in Dublin, Prague, Seoul, Bogota, Mumbai, if I'm right. So a lot of places around the world. The whole point is to get a global network. Our 2 of 15 roadmap for the US only is not to cover San Francisco. This is known. It's to cover at least, at the very least, 10 major cities by the end of the year. For this, you will need hardware. Sigfox is a network operator. We don't deal with hardware stuff. We are not a silicon vendor. We are not licensing our technology. That's not our business. The whole point is for us to offer a wide variety of hardware. Texas Instruments, Atmel, Scilabs, Axem, whatever. They are all including our stack in the RF transceiver. So if you're a TI guy, you are used to work with the CC11 stuff. Yes, it's already here. It's already available. Benefits. Yeah. I'm happy to say there are benefits using Sigfox. You don't need a hub. You don't need your smartphone. You don't need an internet box around, and so on. It's very low on the energy. Most of the stuff that are already available, users are announcing, promising to the end clients 3, 4, 5 years of autonomy, even more when we are speaking about metering stuff. It works indoor and outdoor. So it's operated, meaning users don't need to handle any trouble with the network itself. It's not your problem. You just want your perfect solution, the perfect project you have. You just want it to work, to send a message, deal with a message, add value on that data. You don't want to handle the network stuff. Believe me, you don't want it. And it's cheap. Sigfox is quite cheap. Our whole model is to enable connectivity for devices that you weren't able to connect before because it was too expensive. So we are speaking about a few euros per year per device. Obviously, the more devices, the less communication you need, the cheaper price you'll get from us. hey, unfortunately, we have constraints too. So Sigfox is not the magic solution for every connected project that you have. It's short, so if you want to send a lot of data, if you're pretty sure that it doesn't fit in 12 bytes, sorry about that. But we won't send your pictures, we won't send your videos over our network. It's up to 140 messages per day, quite a lot. Maybe it's critical for you to send a message every minute. Maybe difficult, but just think twice. Do you really need the message to be sent every minute? Or do you need to have a measure taken every minute and send a batch of values every 10 minutes, every hour, every couple of hours, whatever. And it's up to 4 messages per day from the network to the device. You won't send 140 to the network and back to the device. It's designed to be handled for settings management and so on. So, oh, I even forgot the where to use slide. Terrible mistake. So where not to use it, basically multimedia, permanent communication, and where to use everywhere else. Okay, I just saw behind me that the slides weren't following. Don't know why. Whatever. And so that's it. Sigfox is useful for you if you're looking for small messages every now and then, and that you want it to be cheap. Cheap in operations, cheap in subscriptions, and above all, cheap in energy. At the end of the day, energy will cost you money. A lot more money than your basic subscription, a lot of money than the hardware stuff. Energy is key in IoT. Energy is key in connected device. You cannot forgo it. Energy really will be what will define the success or not of your project, I believe. And, okay, don't know what happened with the slides. Okay, they're back. So that's it. I'm done. I'm ready for questions if you have some. Yep. And you have my contact info if you are too shy to ask questions. And I'm ready for questions in English and in French, obviously.
Just very specific question, like you were mentioning that you are able to, so the device is able to send up to 140 messages per day. Is it possible to send all this message in less than 1 minute?
There are two answers to this question. It is possible, technology-wise. You shouldn't do it regulation-wise, because we are operating in regulated bands. In Europe, the ETSI impose a 1% duty cycle, meaning that one device must not speak more than 1% of the time in any given hour. It gives us 36 seconds, and as a Sigfox message can take a few seconds to send, basically we are down to 6 messages per hour, maybe a little more if you are sending less than 12 bytes. You have a lot of use cases where you do not need to send more than 0 bytes, because an empty message is already a lot of info. But yeah, you could send it technology-wise, but the regulation is a 1% duty cycle. We are not enforcing the regulation, but you must follow it, because you'll end up in a lot of trouble if you don't.
And this applies to the device owner or to you as a service provider? This regulation apply to you or to me? Regulation
applies to the people who are selling the devices, who are operating them. We are conveying the data, we are not emitting it. So basically, it's something we strongly recommend our clients, our users to follow.
Okay, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Est-ce qu'on a d'autres questions dans la salle? Oui, dans le fond. Vous pouvez la poser en français, en anglais, il n'y a pas de problème, la question.
I don't really realize what we can do with 12 bits. Do you have a kind of killing usage, or I don't know, to explain what we can do when we communicate with the connected stuff? Or?
Yeah, my where to use slide got lost somewhere. So killer use are metering. Right now we have a lot of use case in metering, water metering, just sending the value. It's just an integer. You have tracking solution, sending the GPS position. You have, basically, if you're monitoring a stock, you're monitoring a value. Yeah, you don't even need 12 bytes. 2 will be wide enough. As I said, it's to you to think about it, be smart. In 12 bytes, as I said, it's billions of billions of billions of possibilities. So either it's a value you're sending, you don't know them in advance, but it may be case A, case B, case C, and so on, up to billions of cases that you know in advance. So either you're monitoring a stock, you're monitoring a fuel gauge, a fuel tank, you're monitoring whatever. It can be a scale. We've got guys developing connected honeybees. I'm not sure about the English one about that. But basically, it's a scale to know when to pick up honey. So either you're measuring simple values, sensors, or you are dealing with known in advance cases, known permutations.
Hello, sorry to ask you a question about LoRa.
Yeah.
You cannot escape it. So LoRa, I mean, Bouygues Telecom has launched LoRa network. Just an announcement, maybe. I don't know if it has been deployed. So let's say technically, so there will be a competitor of Sigfox, definitely. But technically, what is the difference? There's a lot of things in the internet about that, but
yeah, obviously, LoRa is two different things. LoRa first is an alliance. Alliance was first a French technology from a French company that was bought by Semtech. Semtech is a silicon vendor, not one of the top three, it's a good silicon vendor, but right now they are licensing the technology, meaning that you can only use Semtech chips. It can make a difference if you're dealing with hardware. And yes, Bouygues has announced that they will deploy and operate a network in France. Yeah, maybe it will be a competitor for us. We are waiting competition. Competition is always good, help improve everyone. Technology-wise, main difference is LoRa is based on spread spectrum technology. So meaning, I'm not sure they will have the same capacity on one base station. Maybe they will get some traction in a smart building as it's pushed up by the Bouygues corporations. Honestly, we're quite confident, and right now it's just slideware in France. We're waiting for them to deploy the network, and we'll see. But yeah, competition is always good. Technology is different. They are also targeting with LoRaWAN the IoT with small messages. They won't have the same range as we have, and range is not just having range for the sake of having the biggest figure to tell. The higher range you have, the lower number of stations you need to deploy, the lower capex you have on your network, the lower prices you have at the end. So yeah, LoRa, right now, Bouygues has announced something. We are waiting for the end of the year, seeing what is live. And there is still question about the prices. We don't know what their public prices will be. And about the roaming questions. What happens if you switch from the Bouygues network from the would-be Belgian operator? We don't know yet. With Sigfox right now, if you're going from France to Spain, to Portugal, to UK, to Belgium tomorrow, it just works. You don't have to pay roaming fees. You don't have your device that stops working and so on.
So just another question about Spain and France. So you have antenna covering, let's say, the border between the two countries. Is that's possible? There is no regulation against that?
Yeah,
because it's a kind of gray zone. It's not a gray zone. Huh? Roaming is okay today, but it costs money for people. So can the Sigfox network be between the two countries today?
Yeah, right now you can check. The Sigfox network is operating both in France and in Spain. There is seamless transition between the two. It's just different station. Either they are operating directly by us or by one of our partners. In Spain, it's Albertis. They may change their name lastly, but Albertis is operating the base station, it's the same network. A message received in Perpignan and a message received in Barcelona will be picked up by the same network, will end up in the same core network, in the same backend, and will be forwarded the same way to your own platform. To be honest, unlike the Chernobyl cloud, radio messages aren't stopped at borders, so it works very well, both in France, both in Spain. And it's the same regulation, so no problem changing hardware. Same regulation all over Europe.
Excellent. Alors, écoutez, ça termine la conférence. Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Lesconnec, de cette...
Merci.
Oui, merci beaucoup.